Hello everyone, I welcome you all. So today we'll be making this birthday dress for a 2-year-old, and as you can see, these are her measurements. So I'll be using this measurement to cut out every piece that I'll be needing to work with here. So first thing first, I'm going to cut out the lower part of this dress. Her waist measurement divide by 3.14, and I had 6.5, so I'll be working with 6.5 as the radius of this dress. So first I went ahead to mark out 6.5, and the remaining part of the dress now will be about 16 or thereabout, 16.5 or so, because the full length of the dress is 29, and I am subtracting the half length from all of this. So now I'm going to go ahead now and mark out 16.5 all through from this cut out radius, waist radius. For this tutorial, I won't be talking so much because I guess the video is well explanatory, and coupled with all of the tutorial we've had on this channel, one can easily cut this out without so much attention. So I was trying to adjust my material because I noticed there was a puff somewhere. So to avoid shortage, I needed to make sure everything was in place. So after arranging my material, I went ahead to cut out the desired measurement I wanted. That is 16.5 all round. So you must make sure they are all in line so you don't experience shortage. It is better to be excess than to be in shortage. So after this now, I'm going to cut out two of this, that is the main bodice and the lining. So after that, I went ahead to mark out where I'll be placing my net, the different layers for my net. If you've been following us, you should have been aware of this. You should be conversant with this. But if you don't understand what is going on here, I have a video on this. You can go through the videos on my channel and you would see how to achieve fullness in a ball dress. This is exactly what you would see there, and that one is more detailed because the video was just about it, but in this we're making a full tutorial, a full dress. I'm going to go ahead and mark out the different layers where I'll be placing my net. Lest I forget, this dress was made for a 2-year-old for her birthday. I used 2 yards of net, 2 yards of bridal satin, 12 yards of net, and zipper thread and the rest. So I marked out 4 layers. I get 4, I think, okay, 5 layers for this project. So I'll be cutting out the different net for the different places, different length of net for the various parts where I'll be placing my net. So the half length, The shoulder for the dress here is 9, even though I won't really be needing it, but just for illustration purpose, I'm going to cut out the dress as if I'm cutting a normal shoulder dress. So for the shoulder, I divided by 2, that's 5. 10 divided by 2, I got 5. I came down by half an inch for the shoulder slope. Then from my slope, I marked out another 5 inch for the chest line and for the armhole. Then I cuffed my armhole. This is not necessary, but I needed to do it so you could see how I got to where I got, because this is an off shoulder dress. So now from the armhole, I'm going to come down from my shoulder. I'm going to come down by 3 inches. So that 3 inches is what is the measurement I'm going to be using as my off the shoulder measurement. So when I'm cutting the strap for the hand, I'll be using 6 inches. That is 3 by 2, 3 times 2, 6 inches in all. So now I was trying to get my shoulder slope here. So from the shoulder, I came down by 3 inches. So after folding and turning, I would be left with 3.5. I didn't want to make it too low since it's for a baby, a little girl. So I used 3 inches. But if you have a pattern paper, like I always say, this is advisable to cut on the pattern paper first, then you can transfer to your fabric. But I did not waste any here. It is still the same thing. This is because I already know what I want. So now I went ahead to cut out where I had marked the 3 inches down. I had marked. So this is going to serve as our off shoulder dress. So that is the remaining part of the armhole now. That's why I'll be joining the sleeve for the dress. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut out the back part, everything the same, just an inch allowance for my zipper. Then I'll cut I'll cut double of every other thing. I'll cut it in twos, one for lining and one for the main fabric. So I went ahead to add an interfacing to my material, and I went ahead to cut out a long strap for the shoulder. So I cut out 7 by 1 inch. So I'm going to be using 7 inches for the strap. Remember, after cutting out 3 inches, I used half inch for sewing. That's why I'm leaving it at 7 inches. So the strap is 7 inches. This is dependent on how low you came down, you came down when you were cutting out your off shoulder. Please, it is not standard. That is why I used that method, so I would know exactly what to cut out for the strap. So now I went ahead to place my strap on both ends, then used the lining to turn over. So I was done joining the front side. I wanted to make sure that I am on track. 7 inches. Yeah, I'm saying 7 inches because I'll be using quarter inches on both sides to join. So I've gone ahead to attach it to the back part. When you're attaching the strap, make sure that the joint portion faces down so it doesn't show on the dress. So the extra you're seeing there is the excess I had, but I made sure I worked on the length I was supposed to work on. So it's always good to leave an extra in case you did not measure well or in case there is a shortage somewhere. So after that, I'll go ahead and cut out for the sleeve. But before then, I had to work on my lower bodice. Here I am preparing the lower bodice, attaching the net for the different layers. So you can either gather your net and sew directly on your fabric, or you can gather on the fabric just like I'm doing here and sew. I don't know if you understand. You can either gather your net separately and sew on the fabric, or you gather as you sew, or you sew as you gather, whichever. So this is how I have been doing it, and I have gotten used to this pattern. So you can do whatever works for you. So for the sleeve area, I just went ahead to cut out a little sleeve, a little off shoulder sleeve. I used 4 inches for the upper part because after measuring her round shoulder minus her chest measurement, I have 4 inches extra. So it is that 4 inches I'm going to be using to cut out the off shoulder. Then the arm, the round sleeve, the lower part is 7. I used 3.5. I added a little thing just so it doesn't become so tight. So after that, now I'm going to just shape both sides, join, make sure that my off shoulder sleeve is the same with what my armhole is. If it's not, I have to make adjustments, make sure they are both equal. So remember I left 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. That's exactly what I'll be using to join both sides. So you can press open now, make sure everything is in place. Then after that, we'll go ahead now and attach the other part of the sleeve. Then after attaching the other part of the sleeve, I went ahead to join the lower bodice to the upper bodice. So remember I told you that the shoulder area for the sleeve is 4 inches, so you're going to unfold it to be 2 inches on both sides. So the length of the measurement depends on what you want. I am not sure I used more than 3 inches here. So it's just like attaching your your sleeve to your dress. It's the same thing. There is no difference in this now. So I went ahead to put it down with my machine, and then we went on to the next phase, which was attaching the upper to the lower bodice. Front side facing front side, fabric to fabric, lining to lining. Then after that, I went ahead to attach my zipper, close up every part that needed to be closed, and went to the next phase, which was attaching the pom-pom on the shoulder of the dress, around the shoulder of the dress. Sorry. So I hope you watch, understand, and practice. This can serve as a birthday dress for your baby girl, can serve as a Christmas dress. It mustn't be long. You can just add a little touchings to this. It mustn't be exact. You can replicate but not exact. You can add your own creativity to this. So just do something. This Christmas, you don't need to pay anybody to make your baby's dress. This her birthday coming, you do not need anybody to make your baby's dress. But if you still want, oh, we are here for you. So I was done with every hair. So the next thing now was just to attach those things in front on the shoulder, around the shoulder of the dress here. So just Watch, let me explain. So now for this I used 3 yards in width but not in length. It was not a complete 3 yards in length, but it was wide enough. I don't know how to explain it, but when you hold the net, you should know what would be enough to give it fullness and fineness in front. So I went ahead to use my machine to hold it in place, but after that I used my needle and thread. Just like when you're making a bow tie, you gather at the center, then you use that thread to wrap around to give it firmness, then you sew on your dress, right? You gather like you're gathering a bow, use the thread to wrap around where you have gathered, wrap around, tie, then you attach it direct to the dress. That was how I did all till I got to the end, to the zipper area. But first, the first one is usually advisable to use your machine so it can hold it firm and in place. Even after tying with your rope, and when you've started doing your pom-pom, you can still use your machine to sew it down to the dress. But I felt it would just give me more work and stress, so I opted for my hand needle and thread. So I did the same thing all through till I got to the end. And this is all dependent on how wide or how long you want the intervals to be. So you can see what I'm doing here. I gathered. I'll now use that thread to wrap around where I have gathered just to keep it in place. After wrapping around, I'll now sew it, wrap around, tie, then I'll now sew it to the dress. Then those places, remember those places, we'll be using appliques to beautify those areas where we tied. And that is it. And that is it for that. So guys, thank you for sticking around with this woman. Thank you for the love. I beg you not to try. I don't know why even when there's scissors you still prefer to use it to cut thread. Oh God, have mercy. So I was done attaching it all around here. So I would now go ahead and attach the appliques, and that is all.